politically wise, am I very knowledgeable about the government? I'm not super knowledgeable about the government. I'm just going to be straightforward with you and tell you I'm not. What I am knowledgeable about is people and people's rights, people's freedoms, and I am knowledgeable on some, just a little, of the history of us becoming independent, when we became independent, the Federalist Papers somewhat, and the Declaration of Independence a little bit, the Bill of Rights, kind of the same thing, but still right there in the same scenario. So I do have a little bit of knowledge in those areas. Is there experts out there that know way more than me? Yes. Hands down, you, the listener, might even know more than what I really know. I just recently, past 5 maybe years, have I took the initiative to study that part of history and research it and find information on it and soak that information in. So I'm only 5 years into it, so I'm like a 5-year-old into the politics and political and government world. So I try to not get on the technical side of things. But again, I do know what's fair. I do know what is a right that we have as humans, but also as citizens of this once great nation, could be great again. And I mean no offense. I know why people get offended by that. And yes, this nation was built on blood and slaughter and killings, deaths, uncalled for deaths, and genocide. I mean, you name it. It's pretty much, that's how we was built here. We wasn't built on a great time in history. We did have some pretty intelligent MFers back in the day that came up with this. Now, again, that's a toss-up too. So, here's some information that you're not taught in school, just in case you wanted to get a little knowledge to you today. So, when the Europeans came to America, of course there was Indians, Native Americans, however you want to present that. Anyways, there was these tribes, what we considered tribes. I think that it was more, you can ask a Native American, was it more considered communities? Or that was a community? Or was it considered a tribe? Like, I really don't know what they considered themselves. So, anyways, there was these tribes, a lot of different ones, that we did completely wrong to, and we really had the upper hand on them, which is kind of crazy that now we try to defend the little guy as a nation. Like, we're like, oh, quit picking on Ukraine, Russia. They can't fight for themselves, and this, that, and the other. But yet, we did it to build our own nation. Just saying, kind of hypocritical, but whatever. Anyways, back to the story. The information that we wasn't taught in school. George Washington, when he was here, he became a great, I guess you could say like a historian, or he studied Indians, Native Americans, very in-depthly. There was one thing that he really studied a lot about, and that was this peace treaty that was of these. Now, I forget the number exactly. I got it all documented on the computer. I could go pull it up, but I ain't got the time right now. Anyways, he studied these tribes that had this peace agreement. I'm pretty sure it was 5, ended up being 6 tribes, or it was 4 and it ended up being 5 tribes. These were tribes of more of the north areas from where I'm located, or if you look at the United States, it'd be your northeast areas, region that these tribes was mainly around. Canada, into the United States, and down some. Anyways, they had this treaty that was drawn up, given to them by a man in a white boat that traveled for 40 years, spreading this knowledge among the tribes to get them to come to this agreement together and build this treaty for them. Now, if anybody is catching the Christianity connection there, good job. I instantly caught that one. And so I'm like, okay, so what does that have to do with anything, you know? Whenever I was finding this out, well, everything that they had in that treaty, other than one thing that was giving women the ultimate authority over the main chief, she could veto him out instantly. The head elder woman of the tribe, she had that right. Had the right over both chiefs. There was 2 different kinds of chiefs. But our governmental structure, exactly like this peace treaty the Indians had, that George Washington just so happened to be a great scholar in. Learned it. I think he even helped write some of the English documentations of this. And if you don't believe me, which I don't blame you for not believing me, but if you don't believe me, look back somewhere between 84 to 86, maybe 87, 1900s, that is 1984 to 87. One of those years, the Senate, our government, declared that it was part of, if not the whole, part of structuring of our government. They said, yes, that is true. That's how it really was. Why are we not taught that? Like, really? Like, that we just so happen to forget to tell you about that one, guys. What the WTF right there, big caps. And if you don't believe me, go look at the archives. All of that is documented, public documentations. You can see each year, every year, the things that they approved, that they put out. Yes, they did that. It is facts, factual evidence saying they knew, they've known, they just didn't tell. How convenient is that? I mean, I get it. I mean, who wants to admit, first off, that we came over to a more poorer, more, how you want to say, not as advanced in technology of the time, country, and said, hey, this is ours. And they said, no, we live here. This is our land. We said, we don't care. We're taking it. They said, no, we're going to fight. And we said, that's fine. Boom. We took it. Now, not only did we take their land, not only did we just give them the crappiest areas to even live in communities at, secluded them from the rest of us, but we took their structuring of how to govern a group too. So we just took it all. Took it all from them. So I get it. You don't want to share that. It's not quite the information you want to just give out randomly to people about how bad you really was. But here's the next thing. Excuse me, but I'd like to know this. Right? Like, hey, this guy over here would have been nice to let me know some of this information. Maybe I could have made my judgment a little bit sooner on exactly who it was that was leading me. So that's why they left it out. I get it, but it still doesn't mean it's right. Excuse me for a second. Alright, so there's your little bit of schooling education for the day. And we'll see how well that pans over with the rest of the world whenever they get a little sound bit of that. So before I get off here and in this show, there is one, if not two things that I would like to kind of share with you all. See, I did it right that time. You like that? I did it right. So, those things are, one, our newest promo, our newest little commercial that we're testing the waters with over here at the BZB brand. Now, you might be thinking, who in the heck is the BZB brand, or who is BZB? BZB brand is my brand. B. The BZB brand, or BZB Productions, is kind of my creation. That's something I'm trying to accomplish, I'm promoting, I'm trying to build. And so, right now, it is the BZB brand that is making this show happen. They're the backbone to what is happening here. With that being said, we have multiple shows on multiple different platforms that I would like to share with each one of you all. Now, the shows are about me. I'm giving you a little context to the story before you hear it. The shows are about me, and the main one is just about me